Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, June the 5th, 2025. Well, I'm going to go to the big news. We have a new Quartermain slash Carithos baby in the family. Rick is really cross-examining Sasha, and you could clearly see the girl's going into labor. Why Sasha didn't stop her testimony, I don't know. Because Rick asked her more than once, are you okay? I'm fine. No, I'm fine. And I'm thinking, you're absolutely not fine. What was this, some kind of denial that you were going into labor? Because this can't be like what happened with Liam. Oh, you know, Well, my thing is the first time I felt a little twinge of something, I would have said over dramatizes because first Rick said, "Oh, please, this is a, a and you're dramatizing the situation just so you don't have to answer my question." And then when she was like, "Ooh," and Michael jumped up, ran up to her, and Willow's just looking, and the judge is like, Miss Corbin, are you okay?" And she goes, "I'm in labor. This baby is coming." And Michael's like, "We got to get you to the hospital." And Sasha's like, "There's no time. This baby's coming now." Well, see, Sasha, 30 minutes ago, when you were going into labor, you should have stopped then, 100%. I got to go to the hospital. Okay. Because after what happened to my last child, even though the last child died in the hospital, uh, I don't want to deliver a baby on a courtroom floor, right? With Nurse Willow as the attendee. Oh no, right? But needless to say, Michael goes, "No, I'm gonna look. Are you sure I can't get you to the hospital?" And she goes, "This baby is coming now, Michael." So Willow walks up. "Michael, can I help?" And they both look at Willow. And then Willow lays a blanket down on the ground and she looks and examines Sasha. She goes, "Yes, you are in active labor. Your water broke." And Sasha says, "I know." Right. And so Willow gets a little first aid kit and some blankets. I didn't know they had white delivery blankets in the courtroom or courthouse, but maybe they do, because all kinds of things happen while people are on trial. So maybe they do. But needless to say, Michael is right there behind Sasha. Now they cleared the courtroom. Um, Carly went outside. Who was she talking to? I think she was on the phone. Oh no, she was on the phone with the paramedics saying, why are you all not up here?" And they said there was some kind of protest and the entrance was blocked. She goes, "Well, you do whatever you have to do to get through that protest because there's a woman in labor up here," right? So Nina is her and Drew are by Rick, and Nina's saying, "Rick, what the heck was that?" I think she said HELL was that. And he goes, "What?" She goes, "I gave you all the ammunition you needed, and you just went right after Sasha. You did not need to browbeat her like that. You had the testimony from the guy at the bar and blah, blah, blah. You didn't need to do what you did." And he just looked at her like, psh. And Carly walks up. She says, "So it was you? You're the one who betrayed Sasha?" Oh, Carly's going to tell Sasha too, right? And Nina looks at her like, hmm, yeah, what you gonna do about it? So Carly says, okay. And Drew says, no, Carly, this is all on you. You're the one who had to have the rushed court hearing now. This is all on you. Michael for sure is going to lose his kids now. And what Diane said, Diane, it was so funny. Because Diane got a chance to cross-examine Sasha, and then Rick came back because she was actually his witness, right? Diane says, okay, so briefly, you saw them kiss on the 4th of July, and you had a conversation with Willow. When was your next conversation with, she goes, I think, what was it, September, that you had a conversation with Willow? And Sasha said, yes, where she admitted she had feelings for for Drew, and they shared another kiss. And she couldn't stop thinking about Drew. So Diane says, okay, so we have July and we have September. It was an ongoing, you know, ongoing thing. She says, those dates are way before November, when actually October, it was Halloween, so October 31st, when Mr. Corinthos and Miss Corbin slept together. Because see, emotional affairs are just as powerful. And Diane says, no further questions. See, there you go. Because she said, and then Rick said, was Michael Corinthos drunk? So Sasha says, yeah. And he says, how drunk? She said, you'd have to ask him. Goodness. Oh, it was 0.056. That's how drunk he was. How drunk he was, right? But anyway, let's face it, needless here nor there. So Carly looks after Drew said, no, it's all your fault, Carly. So she says, well, oh, really? Well, just to set the record straight, it was Nina that hired Jacinda and paid her to drug you. And she's talking to Drew, to drug you. And Drew turns and he looks at Nina, because remember, he just knew about Porsha. Now, he was told, he had an idea Nina had something to do with it, because remember, Boyle said Nina talked to Jacinda. Something about modeling, right? So he didn't get ironclad confirmation, but he did know Nina was involved. And Nina, when Drew looked at her, Nina looked at him with her eyes open, like, and Carly's like, yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. I just laughed. I 100% laughed, right? And now, so let's get back to it. Willow's doing her job. She said, got Sasha draped. And she says, okay, the baby's crowning. And Sasha's, a typical, and Michael's right there behind her, like he was her Lamaze coach all along. And he was telling her how strong. She goes, Michael, the same thing cannot happen to this baby as happened with Liam. He goes, Sasha, this baby is strong. This baby is healthy. I've seen it in all the ultrasounds you sent me. And Willow looked up like, oh my goodness, right? He says, and I've heard from, progress from all your doctor's appointments. So this baby is gonna be fine. And she goes, okay, okay. And I'm like, yeah, Willow, you got an earful, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yep. So Willow delivers the baby, and first the baby wasn't crying, but Willow's rubbing it. You know, it's funny. I saw this big old little foot up, come out of that little white blanket. I said, "Oh, we getting ready to see a baby." So she goes, "Why is my baby not crying? Why is my baby not crying?" And then the baby starts whimpering and crying, and Willow wraps it up, and Willow brings out this 3 month old because now at General Hospital they cannot have a baby under 3 months old. Period. They implemented that since COVID, right? But first, when Willow has the baby and it's all wrapped up, Willow's turned to the side. She goes, "It's a girl." And she looked at me like, "Girl, you better get that baby to her mama. You holding it like you want to take her baby." No. So then the next scene, it shows Michael and the baby's in Willow's arms, and Michael's still, behind, got like caress holding Willow, I mean, Sasha, but now he's got his arm up under the baby, like they're just this happy little family, right? And um as Sasha said, "Oh, she is okay. She looks okay." And Michael looked up at Willow and he goes, and she's like, "Well, they're okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So now what? Now what's your stance gonna be, Willow?" See, because if natural jealousy kicks in, you want to know what Willow's going to do? She's going to say, "You know what? Now that Wiley and Amelia have a little sister, I think we need to, you know, make sure the kids know each other, make sure the kids are around each other. I think shared watch. She's going to want to be there now. She's going to want to be around. She's going to want to try to be damsel in distress. She's going to want to do a lot." Right? Let's see how Willow plays this, because Michael's gladly gonna give her 5 million. Walk away, girl. And if you play hard to get, he'll give you 10. But walk away. Rick asked Sasha, "Did Michael Corinthos pay you to keep quiet about the?" Oh, that's what sent her. She goes, "No, he never offered to pay me." Right? Oh my goodness, Sasha, she was something else. But now we've got so that was the big deal with them. What happened next was at Curtis and Porsha's house. See, Curtis can be brutal. He can put Porsha through the ringer, right, as she deserves. And he told her she was trying to uncork a bottle. He goes, "You know what? Let me." This before Trina arrived, Trina and Kai. "Let me help you with that." And so she goes, "I don't know what difference it makes. I mean, we're not even really, you're sleeping in a different, and we're sleeping in separate bedrooms and blah, blah, blah. So this is not going to make any difference." He goes, "Well, yes, it does. We have family coming over, and we don't want family asking questions. We don't want family to know there's anything going on, that we're arguing or not getting along." He says, "So you're going to smile and you're going to play the part." He goes, "Because you're good at it. You're good at lying." So then Trina, her and Kai has flowers. They're outside kissing, and she knocks on the door and comes in, and there's Porsha. "Trina, yeah, you are good at it, girl." And Curtis is just smiling, but looking like, "Yeah, you better." Well, Marshall comes. Like Wynton Marcellus is just doing a quick layover in PC, right? So that's why they were having this family dinner. And so Curtis says, "On Stella and TJ, Give their regards because both of them have to work at the hospital. Otherwise, they would be here. And I said, excuse me, TJ, no one has mentioned those initials in what, a quarter? Easy. Could even be 4 months. This is June. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I guess he allegedly still supposed to work at General Hospital. Well, I'll be, right? Now, Marshall, they're telling stories. TJ's telling, a couple stories, and Marshall's laughing, and he finishes his drink and he says, excuse me, you two, I'm going to get another drink. And and Kai says, let me get it. So, of course, Kai's coming in the house to get Marshall a drink, and Curtis had said some snide remark to Porsha. So she drops the tray down. I've had it. I've had it with the snide remarks from you. I've had it with this, that, and the other. And he goes, well, this is the way it is. Because see, our only hope is I have to find Jacinda so I can pay her to say that Drew hired her and he took the ketamine on his own. And then maybe I can get you out, or we can get out of this. Well, Kai heard. I don't know how much he heard, but he heard enough. Because, see, Drew hung the moon, and that's what he was singing Drew's praises to Marshall. And when Marshall and Curtis were talking, Marshall's like, ooh, I'm really happy with the young man's progress, but oh, the way he was singing Drew Kane's praises, Curtis says, I know. And I just hope Drew doesn't do him like he did me. And so, anyway, Kai's going to run and tell Drew out of loyalty. He's going to tell him. I already know it. Anyway, whatever. Right? So now we also have Sonny is still at the pool. He's meeting with Maxie. And Maxie had told, because he was saying, I just wanted to talk about Jen Sidwell. How important is he to deception? And Maxie said, he said, because Jen Sidwell knew I was an investor when he came along. And Maxie says, he says, so how important is he to you? Maxie said, Sonny, can I speak freely? And he goes, absolutely. She goes, Jen Sidwell, right now, is more important to deception than you are as an investor. He said, now, Sonny, a couple of years ago, when you gave, the silent investment in deception, we really needed the infusion of cash. And you kept us afloat then. She said, but with this product, we have, I guess earned, they've turned his money over threefold. She goes, we have made 3 times or paid your investment back 3 times because this product is flying off the shelves. And right now, Jen Sidwell is the only source of the zincite that we need. And so Sonny said, so are you trying to tell me that he is the only supplier of the mineral you need? She goes, right now, yeah. She goes, yes, and I've heard what Sidwell has done. She says, but right now, as long as he doesn't step out of line now, we're just living with it. And our company has never been as profitable. Now, how many people told them you need to look for a new supplier now while you're still okay with the amount of zinc you're getting from Jen's with his contract? Why would you wait until the end of the contract where he says, nope, I'm not going to supply it unless you give me 50% of the company? Then you'll say, we need another supplier. You get one in line now. but they're not listening to, especially not no Lucy, not Lucy at all. So anyway, Sunny said, "Well, thanks for being honest with me." She goes, and then she goes, "Excuse me, Sunny, I need to go take care of something because Lucas was there at the pool with Marco, and Natalia came stumbling up with her vodka drink, you know, telling Marco, we need to talk." She kind of like dismissed Lucas, and Marco checked her on it. He said, "You know what? Could you have been any ruder to Lucas?" She's like, "Who?" He goes, "Oh, the man I'm at the pool here with. He is very important to me. And you were very dismissive and rude to him. I need to talk to you. We need to talk." And he says, "What about?" And Sonny, and then when Lucas went to the bar, Maxie told Sonny, "I need to go take care of something real quick." She leaves the table. She goes over to talk to Lucas and, "Okay, is that hottie you were talking about? I need details, right?" So Natalia, she says, "I need your sister Allie. Allie is not answering any of my texts. She will not return my call. I need you to call her to tell her to take my calls." And he looked at her. He says, "Why would I get involved with the relationship between you and Allie?" She goes, "Because see, I know firsthand why she doesn't want to take your calls." He's looking, he goes, "Because just like I don't want to be talking to you right now." And she just chug a looking, right? This vodka. And he says, "Look, she goes, Allie needs me on tour with her right now. She's in trouble and she needs me." She ain't in no trouble. He goes, "If Allie feels she's in trouble and she needs you, she'll call you." He says, "But I'm going to make myself clear. I will not run interference with her because you have not changed." And she goes, "I have changed a lot and I'm making progress." And he goes, "Based on what you just did to Lucas, you're not making progress at all. As a matter of fact, you can go get drunk somewhere else because I'm through talking to you." And Sonny was watching the whole interaction. Not Lucas, Marco's body language, just, oh, like his mother was turning his stomach, right? So Allison walks away from him, finishing her finishing that drink. And Sonny goes, not Allison, Natalia. He goes, "Natalia, can you come over here?" So she looks at him. He goes, "Come over here, sit down." So she sits down, and Lucas goes back to Marco to talk. And he's talking to her. He goes, "I see things are a little strained between you and your son." And he goes, "He, you know, both of my kids, I can't get them to want to talk to me." And but what that way when they showed them again, she had ordered another drink. It was full this time, and I'm thinking, "Girl, getting drunk on whoa, right?" And so she goes, and I'm trying to convince him to contact Allie, so she'll talk to me. And he goes, "Look, you need to just relax and let them come to you." She goes, "I went through something similar with Michael. Michael didn't want to have nothing to do with me. But in time, he came around in time. So just ease up." And she goes, "Yeah, well, why are you being so nice?" He goes, "I'm just offering you a little advice." And he looked over at Maxie, which was over at the bar area where Lucas were. And Maxie's like, so Sonny says, "Listen, I got to get back to a meeting. But just relax, okay? He goes back to Maxie, and Maxie says, you know, thank you for coming to meet me, but she has to get to another meeting. And Sonny's like, no, that's fine. You know, thank you. We had a great talk, right? Because she goes, is it okay if I leave? He goes, absolutely. We're done talking. Natalia calls Jens. Jens, I'm tired of this. You owe me, and I'm coming to collect. Oh, oh. He owes her for her turncoat diamond on Sonny, betraying Sonny's confidence, right? Oh, yeah, see? So she, before she gets up from the table, kills that glass and is kind of stumbling as she's standing up. And I'm like, wait, I hope you're not going to drive, right? At least we know from Spoon Island, I mean, from the pier to Spoon Island, you're gonna have to take a launch. But look, from the Metro Court to that pier, what how you getting there, girl? Well, guess what? Natalia was driving. Cause the next scene it shows her pulled over by a cop, making her blow into the breathalyzer machine. And he said whatever it was, I forget the number. He goes, whoa, you are way over the legal limit. And she's like, no, no, no. And she snatches it out of his hand. You're reading it wrong. And he goes, ma'am, no, I'm not. And you can't take that. So he takes it back. And she goes, well, I'm just saying, I'm not. He goes, you're under arrest for driving over the limit. So he turns her around, you know, so he can handcuff her. And he kind of has her up, pushed her up against, not pushed her, but leaned her up against the car. And she goes, I am in a white dress, and you better not get it dirty leaning on this car. So he just snaps those handcuffs on her, parts her off. And I thought, who's she gonna call? Well, I already know who she's gonna call. She's gonna call Marco. Marco's gonna have to come get his mommy out of jail. That's what's gonna happen there. Now, Brennan was briefing Jocelyn, you know, on her assignment. And Jocelyn's like, well, you know, I could get some intel on Anna and Emma. And he goes, no, no, you can't, Jax. You have your assignment, and that's Professor Dalton. See, Anna Devane is a seasoned agent, and I don't want her tying you to the WSB. So at some point, you're going to see Anna Devane showing up in Dalton's lab. You're going to be the dutiful college assistant student, period. If she asked you about Dalton, you don't know anything. You're just lucky enough to get the assignment, right? And she's looking at him. He goes, and if she runs into you on campus, because see, she's going to run into you. He goes, I know Devane. No matter what questions you ask, she asked you, you know nothing. You're just happy to get the assignment. Do I make myself clear, Jax? And she goes, yes. And he goes, so you will not try to get any intel from Devane. You understand? And she's like, big eyed. I'm thinking, Jocelyn is still going to do something. I can see it in her eyes. She's still thinking, I'm better. I'm good now. I'm hey, right? Well, needless to say, Anna has called Jason to meet her in the park, which I thought they said if they needed to meet, they were going to meet in his room at Jake's. Okay, but above Jake's. But okay, we in the park. And she says, I need your help. And he goes, for what? And then she tells him about Dalton and, you know, how California to here, blah, blah, blah. He goes, okay, what does that have to do with me? She goes, no, it has something to do with you'd be helping Carly. See, Anna, I can't stand her. She knows how to bend stuff to try to manipulate Jason. And he goes, okay, so how would I be helping Carly? And so Anna said, that's because after, when she told him everything about Dalton, and he goes, well, take that to the WSB. And she says, I did. And Brennan just says, no, I was overreacting as a grandmother, and that Dalton is not on their radar. Anna said, he goes, well, is there any truth to that? She goes, no, I'm not acting like a over concerned grandmother. And she goes, and yes, I know how the WSB operates. Dalton is very much on their radar. They don't want me to know it. And so she says, so what I need you to do, I need you to look into Dalton. He goes, again, how would this be helping Carly? She said, because Jocelyn got a job as Professor Dalton's summer intern, working personally for him in his lab. And if my hunch is correct, Dalton, what he's working on is very dangerous. And Jocelyn is going to be caught all in the middle of this. So Jason says, okay, tell me everything you know. He's like, oh, okay, you tell me everything you know on this Dalton, right? So he's going to be looking into it. Watch, Jason's going to find out she works for the WSB. Yikes. That's my prediction on that. Now, last but not least, we have Liz. Liz breaks breaks little Lucky's heart. She lets him down easy. And he was saying, why? She said, because Lucky, I absolutely do not doubt that you love me, because I love you. I always have. She says, but I know you. She goes, you know what? Can you do me a favor? Can we go back to that time when we were teenagers and we told each other everything? There were no secrets. We told each other the truth about everything. He says, okay. She says, do you consider Port Charles your home? That you just want to settle down and just stay here? And he looked at her. He says, well, if I have to be honest, no. She says, and I know you don't, Lucky. If I were to say yes, we get married, I would be the one like keeping you here, and you don't consider this home. He says, well, it can be. And she's like, no, it couldn't. And he says, well, Liz, look, there's so much world out there to see. Why don't you come with me? We could go traveling. You know, you're a nurse. We could help all kind of people in need and blah, blah, blah. She says, Lucky, what about Aiden? Aiden could come with us. She says, no. Aiden has one more year left in high school. Aiden has his friends. Aiden is going to be filling out college applications soon. This is Aiden's home. This is all he's ever known. I would never uproot him. He goes, yep, you're right, you're right. And Aiden comes first. I was thinking, Lucky, you didn't think not one doggone thing about Aiden, you know. And so he goes, okay, well, what about when Aiden goes off to college? And she says, as nice as what you laid out just sounded, she said, Lucky, that's your dream. That's you. She says, I am in a great place with my career, my job. Port Charles is my home. I have friends here. I have family here. And if I left all of this and I went with you, she said, do you know I would be as miserable as you would be if you had to stay here? And he looked at her and he's like, oh. She says, so no. She says, I'm going to tell you something. I love you enough to know that you're going to go. And I'm still going to love you. You're still going to love me. But our lives are just too different for us to truly be together. So then in the last scene of them together, she goes, so when are you thinking about leaving? He said, well, you know what? Since you turned me down, there's nothing to keep me here. He said, tonight. Like, how's that happen? You have a job, right? In my mind, I'm thinking, wasn't his contract 2 years or was it one? Because guess what? He came in June of last year's. So I guess his contract's only a year, right? If in fact he's leaving right now. So she goes, so soon, huh? He goes, well, you know. So she goes, I understand. He goes, first I'm gonna find Aiden and I'm gonna tell Aiden. He goes, I don't know how I'm gonna tell him, but I'm gonna tell him and then I'm gonna go. And Liz says, you know what? I have an idea about that. And I'm thinking, what ideas is it gonna be? Maybe she's gonna suggest Aiden goes on a summer adventure with his father, right? Because it is summer vacay. I will see. I don't know what Liz's idea is, but yeah. So I'm gonna miss my favorite little couple that got back together again. Huh. So anyway, that is it, everybody. That is it. Um, I'm gonna go to Comic Corner. I'm gonna do 5 minutes of Comic Corner. This time we have like 106 comments. So I scrolled all the way down to where somewhere in the middle. Don't know how because I don't count them. And I'm just gonna read from the middle down for 5 minutes. And here we go. We have Lucy says Geo needs to accidentally shove Professor Dalton into the MC pool next. That's funny. And then Lucy says Rick Lansing is ruthless defense attorney, but a one night stand should not make or break a judge's custody decision. It's not. Sewing Room says, I meant that infidelity happens all the time. And then Christera to Sewing Room says, really? Well, unfortunately, it does. you know, Black Purple Turquoise says to Sewing Room, not from the research I did online a few weeks ago. That's not what I heard in real life. No parent loses. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember, I was saying that no parent loses custody of a child for a one night stand unless it's in some way harmful to the child in question. Meaning, while you were doing that one nighter hooking up, you left your child home alone and he was underage. Some crap like that. Sasha and Michael have done absolutely nothing to harm Wiley and Amelia the way Willow and Drew has emotionally. So, yeah, she moved him in. Daddy's hurt getting help, and you still wearing the wedding ring, but you sleeping in Uncle Drew's room. Yeah, exactly. Right. And then Brenda says, Michael, one night without his children versus Willow, 11 months with her children. Which is worse? The first one. Michael, one night without his children versus Willow, 11 months. I don't get that. And then Sewing Room says to Christera, what I meant is the infidelity happens all the time. I'll have to edit that. Okay. And then Sewing Room says the Black Purple Turquoise meant infidelity happens. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Gara says, this is what happens when you keep inserting yourself into other people's marriages, Sasha. Sasha helped Michael. And the cues with keeping the kids from their own mother. So Sasha has this coming. She's a hypocrite. She's a bad mother. Ooh, I don't agree. Just like Willow, and is trying to keep her baby from Michael too. And then Black Purple Turquoise says, you got to be kidding me. Sasha has done nothing wrong. Number one, and then Black Purple Turquoise, you go, oh my God, you wrote a whole book. Good job, man. Was that your college thesis? Excellent job. But since I'm only reading 5 minutes, I'm going to skip on down to other comments. But everybody read Black Purple Turquoise's comment or reply. IRT Production says, what is it with Rick and pregnant women? First, he threatens Christina when she was pregnant and terrifying her that she would have to testify against her father. A threat that caused her to derail and ultimately led to losing her and Molly's baby. And now he's pressuring Sasha and stresses her out into premature labor. If they have Sasha lose the baby, Nina and Rick need to pay big time. Sasha has had enough loss. I hope they don't kill off another baby. Nah, I don't think so. Don't forget, um, he had Carly chained to a wall in a panic room while she was pregnant. Yeah, what is it with Rick and pregnant women? With Morgan in the house where he lived with Liz. I'm sorry, but I could never associate myself with someone who does that. There's a certain crime I can't look past. Any crime towards children, pregnant women, um, are part of that. But Liz has always been weird when it comes to men and who she lets stay in her life. And LRT production says to T Dominic, I have forgotten about that. I agree. He's a real creep. And why Liz ever forgave him is really questionable. And then Madalena says, hello, Daily Recap lady. Today's episode was amazing. Jocelyn did outstanding. I'm so proud of her. I love the scene that Geo infers in inferences to Boyle. Sasha did outstanding. I love the interaction between Lucky and Liz. Skip Anna. I know. God, Anna. Goodness. I love how Brooklyn told Lulu it's about time. Because it was not her place. Well, that's all for now. I'll keep tuning in. Oh, you've been a fan for 60 years. Many blessings, Maggie. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. And then Ebony says Sasha should have pleaded the fifth. And then Christera did a happy laughing emoji. Rhonda says, I love Sunny and Laura's friendship. And Rhonda says Jocelyn is going to have to save Emma, or Emma will save Jocelyn. And then Rhonda says Michael sleeping with Sasha has nothing to do with custody. Um, and then Davette says, uh, darn, I miss Ezra in the pool. I would love to have seen that. All right, I'm at 6 minutes of Comment Corner, everybody. That's it for Comment Corner. I'll be back tomorrow. Ooh, Cliffhanger Friday. What do you think we have in store on Friday for another daily recap of General Hospital?